This corn casserole is the easiest holiday meal to make. Anywhere you bring it to friends or family gathering, everyone's gonna be raving about it and want to know the recipe. Luckily for them, it's super easy. So let's dive right in. So this is a 5-ingredient meal. The first thing I'm gonna start with is butter. So when I first had this recipe, it was a non-vegan thing. Someone had brought it to a potluck at work. I couldn't stop eating it, so I had to know the recipe. And over the years, I've veganized it, and let me tell you, it has not been any kind of a sacrifice whatsoever. So it's a very indulgent meal. Over the years though, I've been able to cut out some of the less healthy parts. We're gonna start with 2 ounces of butter. I'm gonna put that in a measuring cup, and I'm gonna throw this in the microwave for 30 seconds or a minute, whatever it takes to make it a liquid. While that's going, I'm gonna get started on the other 4 ingredients. So we're gonna take a box of Jiffy mix. The important thing with this is you wanna get the vegetarian version. The standard has lard in it for some reason. I don't see why you need that. So we're just gonna open this up and dump it in the bowl. It's gonna be a little bit clumpy. That's okay. You can break up those clumps a little bit if you want to, but I haven't really found it makes a difference. All right, my butter is now a liquid, so that's ready to use. And we really just gotta throw all the ingredients in this bowl. It doesn't really matter what order we do it in. So I'm just gonna take my corn kernels, single can, drained, dump it in. Next, I've got another can. This is cream corn. Don't drain it. Just dump the whole can in. Next, I'll throw in that butter that I just melted. And then the other indulgent ingredient is some kind of cream cheese. I've tried a lot of different vegan alternative cream cheese brands. The original recipe calls for a cup. We're not gonna do a whole cup, we're gonna do a half cup. It really doesn't make the flavor any less good. And then I'm gonna dump that in the bowl with a little help of my spatula. So again, you can play around with these different ratios. I've done it a lot. I've made this every year for probably the last like 6 or 7 years, and everyone's always begged me to bring it back the next year. And it's never turned out bad. So once you've got everything in the bowl, we're just gonna mix this up really nicely. I haven't found that there's a limit to how much mixing you can do. So I've always, been very liberal with the amount of mixing. Just want to combine everything nice and good so you don't have those clumps or anything. But if you do, that's okay. Just make sure you're scraping it up off the bottom. Sometimes you'll have a little bit of a dry spot where that cornbread mix is hanging out. All right, and that's about it. So the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna transfer this into the container I'm going to use in the oven. And you wanna put something on it to make it so it's not gonna stick. I'm gonna use this canola oil spray. Again, probably not the healthiest thing in the world, but hey, it's Thanksgiving. It's a lot better than some other things we could be eating. So I'm just gonna coat around, make sure that it's fully coated wherever that corn is going to touch it, and then we'll just transfer it in. You can also do this in a crock pot. I'm going to do it in the oven myself. So yeah, it's just that easy. You know, I'm gonna give it a little jiggle around to flatten it out, and then we're ready to go in the oven. I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. This is probably gonna take about 45 minutes to an hour. You can poke it with a toothpick and, you know, see when it's not sticking so much anymore. You wanna get that nice golden brown on top. And, you know, sometimes I've even done a little convection oven at the end just to kind of give it that really nice crispy crust on the top. But other than that, I'm just gonna set a timer and then I'll see you in about an hour. All right, so my timer just went off. It's been there for about an hour, so I'm gonna pull it out. Oh baby, she's crispy browned goodness. So I'm very confident that this is done, but just to prove it to myself, I'll do the quick toothpick test, poke on it. Not much came out with it, so we're gonna call it good one way or the other. So this thing's still sizzling, I can hear it, so I'm not gonna dare touch it yet, but we'll be back in just a minute when it's cooled down a bit, and we'll see what it looks like after I cut a nice slice out of there. So I didn't want to be patient, but I did the wise thing and I let it cool down a bit, and now we're gonna see how it looks. So this single batch is, you know, probably enough food for about 4 people in a meal. You know, it looks like a decent amount, but trust me, everyone's gonna want quite a bit of it. And, you know, you'll be happy if there's any leftovers, although I wouldn't expect it. So, you know, it's super easy to multiply this batch if you need to. I will frequently make a double or even a triple batch, and it's basically the exact same steps. If I'm making it that big, then I'll probably be using something more like this, and it's just as simple, so highly recommend. Like I said earlier, this is the thing that I always bring to every Thanksgiving and Christmas, and any excuse I have to make this, I will happily take it. So here, now you can see we got that super crispy crust on the outside, but it's quite moist on the inside. And honestly, it will probably continue to cook for a little while on the counter. This has been out of the oven for maybe 10-15 minutes, and as you can see, it's still quite steamy. So I'm gonna take a bite here at my own risk, but I know what I'm getting into. It's hot, but it's good. It's extremely sweet. That's just from all that corn in there. I think the sour cream, you know, has a little bit of help to that as well. And then the cornbread mix. So it's, you know, it's very bready, but it's nice and moist and just hearty, and it's delicious. So again, it's not particularly health food, but it's a holiday dish, and I'm sure you're gonna love it. So let us know if you try this, and, you know, hit that like and subscribe if you want to see more. Keep following along. We can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye.